Hi everyone, so I did have a question that was asked about how to do this problem. So I wanted to show that problem so that you guys know what to do. Alright, so we're going to start off with the total profit. And this is for anything. Alright, so your profit is how much money you make in sales minus your cost. Okay, now for this problem, our sales are going to be that 40 minus 4x squared. That is the price that we're going to be able to charge. That's the price that we're going to be able to charge. So it's going to be 40 minus 4x squared is the price, and then that's going to be times the number of items we sell, which is x. All right, so that gives us our total money we're going to make minus how much it cost us, and it cost us $15 for each radio, so that's going to be 15 times x. All right, so that's our start of our formula, and then we just got to distribute this. When I distribute that, I'm going to start distributing to the x squared, so x times x squared gives me a negative 4x cubed. And then times the 40x, so it's going to be plus 40x, and then bring down our minus 15x, combine our like terms, and that gives us a negative 4x cubed plus 25x. All right, so that's the formula that we get. Now, what they told us, all right, so that's our profit formula. What they told us now is that this would give us the profit in millions, and we already know that right now, if we make 1.5 million units, we make a profit of 24 million. So what we would do is we would take our negative 4x cubed plus 25x, and we would set that equal to 24 million. And remember, the answer is going to be in millions, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the 24 to get our 0, which is going to give us a negative 4x cubed plus 25x minus 24 equals 0. All right, so that would be our formula. Now, if we wanted to make $24 million, that would be our formula. All right, so that's what they told us they want us to do, is they want to know, can we make any less radios and still come up with the same 24 million? Well, they gave us a 0. They told us 1 was at 1.5. So we would put the 1.5 out front, and we're going to bring that out of that. All right, so we're going to factor that out of this. All right, now we're missing an x squared term, so we would put negative 4, 0, 25, and negative 24, and we already told that this gives us a 0 there because that's one of the zeros for the function. All right, so then we drop our first term, we multiply, which gives us a negative 6. We add, and then we multiply again. Gives us a negative 9. And then we add, and it gives us 16. And then we multiply, and we get a 24. All right? So now we've factored out that 1.5 out of it. So that means we're left with this. All right, remember, we take 1 away from this. So we're left with a negative 4x squared minus 6x, and then plus 16 equals 0. Well, what we can do first is we can factor this, we can factor a 2 out of it, and I'm going to factor a negative 2 out of it. So I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 2. So that's going to leave us with 2x squared plus 3x minus 8 equals 0. All right, and then we can see if we can factor this out. multiply 2 times 8, you get 16. Do we have the factors of 16 that when you subtract it, you would get a 3? And the answer there is no, we don't. So then what we're going to have to do to figure out our answer, all right, is use something else. Now, what I did is I used the quadratic formula. First thing I did is I checked to see if, in fact, I had an answer, all right? So I wanted to just check the discriminant real quick, all right? Do my b squared minus 4ac. And when I did that, all right, when I did my b squared minus 4ac with this, a was 2, b was 3, and c was negative 8, that gave me a positive 73, all right? So now I know that the discriminant is 73, so I know I have two real solutions. So I would do x equals negative b, so it's going to be a negative 3 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, which we already said is 73, all over 2 times a, so 2 times 2, which gives me 4, and that would give me some solutions. So now I'd have to put this in the calculator. Well, if I have a negative and I subtract that, it's going to give me a negative number, and I know I don't want that. So I just did it with the plus sign, and when I did it with the plus sign, it comes up to approximately 1.386. And again, that's in millions, so it will be 1,386,000 radios. So if we produce 1,386,000 radios, we would still make the 24 million. All right. So that was example 5. The other question I had was about number 19 on the homework. All right. So I started number 19 on the homework. Here's the problem up here. So the first thing I did was I factored out the positive 3. All right. So again, I set it up, did it synthetically, and came up with this. Now, once you come up with this, all right, I just dropped that down, and then I factored out the negative 3. All right, so I factored the negative 3 out of that, did it synthetically, and it came up with that. Now all I have to do is it leaves me with this, and then I just factor that out. Well, that's easy for us to factor out. X is in the front, right? Signs are the same, they're both plus. Factors of 5 that add up to 6 would be 1 and 5. All right, so it factored completely out, all right, which is what I think we had to do for homework. All right, given 2 zeros, find the other zeros. All right, so then our other zeros, all right, we'd set this equal to 0, and we would get x plus 1 equals 0, so we get x equals negative 1, and then x plus 5 equals 0, and we get x equals negative 5. So those are my other 2 zeros.